A lot of people start looking into building something online because they're hoping it might be a way to create income and do something meaningful with the time they have left. But very quickly, many of them get discouraged and quit. Not because it doesn't work, but because it's harder than they expected, lonelier than they expected, and slower than they expected. And at a certain age, slow feels personal. I know that feeling. I'm 77 years old and I started this journey less than 6 months ago. I want to tell you what that's actually been like. Not the version that sounds inspiring, the real version, because I think the real version is more useful than the tidy one. When I started, I didn't know what I was doing. That's not false modesty. I genuinely had no idea. I bought a $27 course on AI and affiliate marketing because someone I trusted said it was legitimate. I sat down at my computer and stared at it. I didn't know what half the terms meant. I wasn't sure my hands were going to cooperate with what my brain was trying to tell me to do. My wife asked me how it was going after the first week. I told her I was learning. That was about as specific as I could be because I wasn't sure what exactly I was learning or whether it was going to amount to anything. Here's the first thing I've learned in 6 months. Starting something new later in life is harder in some ways and easier in others than people would expect. The harder part is real. The learning curve is steep. The technology doesn't care how many years of experience you have in other areas. It just asks you to start at the beginning. There are days when you feel completely outpaced by people who grew up with this stuff. Days when you wonder if you waited too long. But the easier part is also real. And it's something younger people building in this space don't have yet. I have patience that took decades to develop. I've seen enough things not work to not panic when something is slow. I've been through enough hard seasons to know that difficult and impossible aren't the same thing. I've had enough experience with hype to recognize it quickly and not get pulled in by promises that sound too clean. These things are worth something. They're not nothing just because they're not visible on a screen. The second thing I've learned, and this surprised me, is that my age is not the obstacle I expected it to be. My Instagram audience is 83% between 20 and 35 years old. Not because they relate to my age, because they don't see anyone else in their feed who looks and sounds like me. I'm not trying to be young. I'm not using their language. I'm not chasing trends. I'm just being exactly who I am. A 77-year-old man who's been through enough to have something real to say. And apparently that's different enough from everything else they're seeing that it gets their attention. I didn't expect that. I thought my age was going to be the thing that held me back. It turns out it might be the most valuable thing I have. The third thing, this is the one I want to spend a little time on because I think it matters for anyone starting something new, regardless of age. You have to be willing to be bad at it for a while. That sounds simple. It isn't, especially if you're someone who has spent decades being competent at things. Being a beginner again after 50 or 60 or 70 years of building expertise in other areas, that's genuinely humbling. There's a version of pride that doesn't want to be seen struggling with something a teenager does easily. I had to get over that. The typo I made in a post early on, I mentioned it in the caption, said something like, "That's what happens when you're in a hurry and old." That post got more engagement than half the polished content I'd put out up to that point. People responding to the honesty of it. They weren't laughing at me. They were laughing with me because they recognized something real. That taught me something I keep coming back to. Authenticity beats polish every single time for the kind of audience I'm trying to reach. The people who need what I have to offer aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for someone who's actually in it, making mistakes, figuring it out, being honest about both. So if you're sitting somewhere right now, wondering whether it's too late to start something, whether the window is closed, whether too much time has gone by, whether someone your age can build something real in this space, I want to give you the honest answer. I don't know exactly what's possible for you. I only know what's been possible for me in 6 months. And what's been possible is more than I honestly expected when I started. God doesn't waste seasons. The years you think disqualify you might be exactly what qualifies you for the person you're going to reach. Start. Figure it out as you go. Be willing to be bad at it for a while. Stay honest about where you are. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's still true at 77. If you want to walk through any of this together, the practical side of building something online, the mindset side of starting over, any of it, my free community, The Next Step, is open. The link is in the description. There's no pressure, just honest people taking the next step. Now, before I close, I want to remind you, if you would, to like and subscribe. If this kind of a video helps you at all, like and subscribe. That helps the algorithm. Thanks for being here. I'll see you the next time.